It's September 15th, 2020. I'm going to do a review on my 2018 Juiced Bikes Rip Current S. This is my baby right here, and I love it, but I have been through hell with it. Don't let me fool you. But once we get past all the baloney, the bike is really amazing. So here's the deal. Lots of modifications I've made to this bike, and I ride it as much as I possibly can. I'm sort of handicapped, so I really need the electric motor to help me like start off and stuff. But I usually ride it on power level 1, assist level 1, and anyway, it's been fabulous. Just a great bike. Turns heads wherever it goes. I ride with two other guys that have these as well on our local bike path here in Rhode Island. So let me tell you a little bit more about this and maybe some of the modifications that I've made to it. I guess I should start by saying, let's see, this is the 5th one ever built from 2018. When I got it, it had some problems. And it's probably because it was really new to them and they had no clue how to put it together. There was assembly problems, and that caused other problems. But once I figured out those problems and got them finally fixed, then everything was fine. So I won't go into the heavy-duty problems that I had, but there were multiple problems, and they're all squared away now. And the bike is reliable, and it's wonderful to ride. And I've taken care of little teeny defects that maybe I can help you with if you have problems with your bike. Let's get into the modifications that I've made. First of all, this has been upgraded brake-wise, chain-wise, drive chain. The tires and tubes, well, actually the only problem I had is I had a flat in the back because they put the rim strip on wrong, and I got a flat into my tube, so I have a Presta valve in the back, on the back tube, and it's still the all original up front. These are the original tires, and by the way, I have 1,100 miles on this. Just hit 1,100 miles. I have carbon fiber bars by a company I cannot pronounce, but it is Chinese, and believe it or not, they were really thick. They've been really good. I also put on this extension right here, which is adjustable, and it creaks a little bit up here, so I'm thinking of maybe getting another one. I don't know if you can hear it, but sometimes it creaks, and you're only supposed to torque these down to 5 nanometers, so you can't keep on tightening them because you'll crush the carbon fiber. But this was an inexpensive bonus plus. This adjustment here is what tightens the bearings in here. So if this is loose, you'll feel, if you hit the front brake, you'll feel a lot of slop right here. So you have to make sure this is just right. You don't want it too tight or too loose. You don't want slop, and you don't want it to be restricting the steering. This is modified. This used to have clicks, but now it doesn't click at all, and I mostly keep it locked. But I don't really like that front fork because even with 100 pounds, you're supposed to only put 100 pounds PSI max in there, and even with 100 pounds, it's just wishy-washy. It hits the bottom and the top stays, so I'm not really into it. The battery is a 52 volt, 21 amp hour with, I believe, Panasonic batteries, if I'm not mistaken. And the new batteries that they're selling these days are 52 volt, 19 amp hours. So this is actually a bigger battery. It's been wonderful. The battery has really been great. I have a Whipperman Connex chain on it. Drive chain, which you can take off in 3 seconds. You just have to find the master link, and then you pinch it together, and the chain comes off. You can clean it and put it right back on. It's all done without tools. And it's a Whipperman Connex that's made for e-bikes. It's the only e-bike chain that I know of, so you may want to look one of those up. The front brake I modified. I didn't modify, I changed it over. It's a Magura MT5E front brake. This is a 4-piston caliper, Let's see if we can show you. And it's a 2-finger lever, which is fully adjustable, and it works great. It works so much better than the Star Unions, even the Tektronix Tektros that come on the new ones. It's much better than that. It also cost a lot of money. It was about $250. And it has a 2mm rotor. I changed over the rotor to a 2mm thick rotor. It is super stable. Magura comes from motocross, so they really know how to make brakes. It's hydraulic, of course. I kept the Star Union in the back. I put these rubber things on for a little extra grip. I got rid of the Ergo grips because they were actually killing my palms, and I just put on standard foam grips. These were inexpensive, AliExpress. And this is for my garage door. I have a pepper spray because we have evil people who live here. I can't remember the name. Satori, I believe. This is a Satori suspension seat post. It's the smaller one. I believe they've upgraded the new Rip Currents to a thicker seat post, but this one works fine. Let's see. I've put on Shimano Saint pedals. These are a metal pedal, and these are absolutely wonderful. Topeak bag, which is basically Velcro to this. It's got a big sheet of Velcro, and it's also tied down in a few places. So I changed the seat over to a man seat, and we have one of these, and we have 1,100 miles on it. And then this is my ORP. An ORP is a really neat thing. It's very different sounding. It'll do different blinks, fast and then on, full. And here's the cool thing. It has a remote here. This is what it sounds like. You can press it hard. If you press it soft, you get that. If you press it hard, you get that. You can also do it back here. So that's wonderful on the bike path. It's not really annoying and people don't get offended by it. Let's see what else we've done. I'm sure there's other things. These are lizard skins that protect the front fork. Inner stays. That's pretty much it. Oh, and we have a high volume air pump right there. But on top of that, I always, because it's real hard to pump up these, I keep 25-gram CO2 cartridges and a valve up here, so if you have to inflate the tire real quick, get it to be on its bead, or for whatever reason, you can do it with that. Let's see what else. I have, these are called Flechters. Flechter. They're from Germany. They're really cool. They don't add any weight whatsoever, but they're super high reflective. Let's see what else. I think that's just about it. I'm doing it all from memory here, so the Altus, the Shimano Altus derailleur has been actually really good. I've changed over the jockey wheels to a little bit lighter ones with ceramic bearings in them, so it does pedal a little bit easier. I do have a slight problem that comes and goes, and I haven't yet to figure out exactly why, but I'll go through like a phase of when my chain comes off of the front sprocket, and then it'll stop doing it. And don't ask me why, what starts it or what stops it. Maybe it's temperature, I have no idea, but it's not doing it now. And it seems to me that if this was just pinched just a little bit more, it wouldn't do it. So I don't know what's causing that, but I can actually get it back onto the sprocket with my foot, so I don't even have to get off the bike to do it. I was having a problem, and I know other people have this problem with the rear sprocket. You'll be pedaling along, and it'll flick the chain like it's trying to change gears on like one tooth of any particular sprocket. And what I think I found that's caused by is I don't know what to call it. When you sometimes people shift gears hard. Bang shifting, I think it's called. It's an accidental thing that you do, like you're at an intersection, you're in the wrong gear, so you put it in the right gear and you slam it in, and it bends the tooth. It bends a tooth, and then all of a sudden, if you're on the sprocket below that, that one tooth that you bent seems to every now and then grab the chain. So what you have to do is find out which tooth it is and give it just a small little whack with a, like a screwdriver, just to bend it over, not to hurt anything. You do it, using common sense, and it'll fix it. And I had that problem with I think my 6th gear, and it was driving me crazy. So I backpedaled until I found out which sprocket it was. I hit it with a magic marker so I could tell which one, and then I hit it with an Allen wrench and a hammer, just lightly, and it never did it again. It's been great. And I know the 2 guys that I ride with have had the same problem, so they're attacking their rear sprockets. They have multiple problems with theirs. So I think it's because sprockets just don't handle bang shifting the way they used to. And the way this bike is set up, there's an awful lot of travel left to right in the rear sprocket compared to the single sprocket. So depending on what chain you have and how you ride, and if you've bang shifted a lot, you may have that problem. What else? So I will go real quick with the problems that I had originally. When I got the bike, it had shipping damage, and the front crankset was damaged. The whole front sprocket was warped and bent, like you couldn't even ride it. So I had to wait like weeks for them to send me out a new one, and then they had to send me the tool, because if they got to send me the tool, I should have just gone out and bought one, which I did later. Then after that, on my 3rd ride, my very first beginning of my 3rd ride, the motor quit, totally quit. And what it turned out, after months of yelling and screaming at Lewis, or whatever his name is, in the service technician, who wasn't even, he was in Brazil, I think. He wasn't even at Chula Vista. It turned out that they had installed my ECU backwards in the down tube, and it crushed the motor wire. All the other wires worked, and I got LCD, I got everything, but just no motor. So that was a real drag. That was the journey I was talking about. Yelling and screaming, and just, you guys are driving me crazy. I spent all this money on this bike and it wasn't working. But once we got past that, the bike has been rock solid. And not only that, but they updated my ECU to the latest update. I did that last winter, and the bike has been rock solid. I have all the different power pedal assist modes, all the way up to race, and it's absolutely the fastest bike. You get going, it goes like hell. So when I bought this bike, one of the reasons why it cost so much was because it came with this Grin cycle satiator battery charger. This is a 8 amp battery charger, and it's customizable, and I believe it balances the battery as well. And just so you know, up here I have I guess one of the things to make your battery, to get more service life out of your battery, you should only charge it up to 80% if you're not going for like real long rides. And 80% would be 55.4 volts, which I try to stick to. I usually go on a 20-mile ride on our bike path. So sometimes I go a little bit above that. Sometimes I fill it all the way up to the top. And you don't want to get down below 20% state of charge, which is 45.4 volts. You can do it, but you want to stay somewhere between 80 and 20%. When you're storing the battery for the winter, if you are inclined to do so, you want it around 50.4 volts. That's at 50% state of charge, or whatever you think is right for you, but you don't need to have it filled all the way up. The more you fill it all the way, charge it all the way to the top, the less service life you'll have out of it. Now, the other train of thought behind that is, by the time that you wear that battery out, there'll probably be much better batteries and some kind of an adapter that I hope Juice makes to fit it into the down tube. But batteries are about to go haywire, being really amazing. And they're changing size, they're changing density, their energy density. Anyway, it's just something to consider. So if you want to protect your battery and get the most service out of it, you want to only charge it to 80% if you can swing that. I have some other numbers here. Yeah, I wanted to do a two different kinds of charges. The fast charge is a 7 amp fast charge, and these are the specs for it. And then the slow charge, which is what I always use. And that's another thing, is you don't necessarily have to slow charge LiPo batteries. Like the old NiCads liked slow charges better than they liked fast charges. But I think LiPos don't really care if you fast charge them or slow charge them. You don't lose service life, as far as I know. I could be wrong. But as far as I'm concerned, I don't want to pamper the battery, but I don't want to abuse it either. So I try to keep it at 50% all winter long, because here in Rhode Island, we have long winters. And I also have a scooter over here that has a 48 volt, 19 amp hour battery. And I try to baby that too. That's the charger for that. But the battery is the most expensive part you'll buy. And also, what I would like to say is, if you're thinking of buying an electric bike, get the biggest damn battery they offer, and you will not be sorry. The whole thing about an electric bike is getting range anxiety, meaning you're out 22 miles and you're afraid you're not going to make it back. And that's what scares people, so they turn back prematurely. So just get the biggest battery you can and try to find out what your range is, so that you know what to expect, and just know that every year it'll decrease a little bit. Not a lot, but unless you mistreat it, leave it all winter long, charged all the way to the top or all the way at the bottom. Do not kill your battery. Do not go all the way to the bottom. You do not want to go under 20%. I mean, 15% maybe is okay, but be careful. If you discharge your battery all the way down, you're going to hurt it. And there are ways to bring it back up, but that's just a tip. Anyway, this bike's been fantastic, and kind of a rough start, but it's really, really amazing. So that's basically it. I put this on. I'm a guitar guy, so we put the Fender Road Worn on the fender, and the Magura sticker. Magura is M-A-G-U-R-A. That's the front brake. And go look at their site if you want to upgrade your brake. The reason I upgraded that brake was because I was riding on the hills of Massachusetts, out western Massachusetts, where it meets Vermont and New York. And I used that Star Union coming down some of those huge hills, and I thought my life was going to end. It just did not have enough stopping power. I'm a 245-pound guy, and I was going, 45 miles an hour on the downhills, and it just scared the crap out of me. So this brake is much, much better, and I would highly, highly recommend it. Okay, that's pretty much all I can tell you about my Juice Rip Current S. And if you have any questions, please ask. I'll even steer you to my other videos that shows you how to put the back wheel on properly with the spacers and how it's supposed to be installed. And thanks for watching.
I did it! I did it! Yeehaw! I installed a Bolany air suspension fork on my Juiced Rip Current electric fat bike. This was a daunting task for me because not only did I have to learn all about suspension forks, I also changed out my bike's headset, so I had to learn all about headsets too. and they're really tough to understand. While information is available on this stuff, each fork manufacturer uses their own verbiage, and throw in the Chinese translation issues, and what you get is a whole ton of funfusion. Anyway, I'm now fairly well versed at all this stuff, at least on my bike's needs. I hope you find this video helpful in some way. Ask questions and I'll try to answer. Enjoy this extra long video!
Hi, I just got a ZTZ Cheetah. I think this is called a Cheetah. Cheetahs. It's a Cheetahs. It's plural. There's a whole bunch of cheetahs in here. This is made by Bolloré, I believe, which is probably the same company as Bucklos and, oh God, a half a dozen other ones. What is it? Lutu and KRSEC. I think they're all the same company. However, this arrived. It looks to be pretty good. It's holding air. And it looks like it's got a good rebound adjustment. Wait a minute. I'm going to try and do this all with one hand. There's the rebound adjustment. So it's replacing, on my Juiced Rip Current, the Mozo Fatman. That's a Mozo Fatman, which is of the worst forks on planet Earth. The only thing that this fork does well is lock out, and that's it. So hopefully this ZTZ is a better fork. Here, let me lean it up against here. Sorry about the lighting down here. We're in the basement. Even right now, with this adjusted as well as I can, there's a little straight spot right here. I can feel it. It's not a good bearing. So to get a little off topic, I believe, and I'm guessing right now, according to Cane Creek, which makes headset bearing kits, and they're about the best around, there's 3 different types of bearings, headset bearings, and 2 of them I'm pretty sure aren't what this is, which is an external bearing. As you can see, that everything is internal here. And then they make another kind that is built right into here, which I don't believe. This is too inexpensive a bike to have that kind of built in. So I believe this is what's called a zero stack. And if anybody can confirm that, that'd be great. So I ordered a non-Cane Creek zero stack sealed bearing, $20 new bearing for this, which I may or may not use, depending on what I find when I open this thing up. So that's that. I also have some carbon fiber spacers coming. And I wanted to say that the Bolloré has a slightly longer, and it needs to be cut. I don't know if I can match this up. Slightly longer steerer tube. So I actually want to be sitting up a little bit more upright. So I may leave it the way it is and have this up, somewhere around here. I don't think I'm that much against it. I just need a lot of spacers underneath it. And yeah, this is a scary game, folks. If you've never done this before, it's not a simple thing to do. It sounds simple, and the idea is simple, but to actually do it and bang out old bearings and put in new ones, press new ones in, it can be a little hairy. By the way, I have gator skins on this. Lizard skins that I'm going to use on the Bolloré. Dropping everything here. Sorry. Doing this with one hand is like nearly impossible. Ugh. But I just thought I'd come down and show you. So there's there's what the lizard skins look like. I gotta wash these, which we'll do. And this is not gonna go in for about a month because I'm still waiting for parts from AliExpress to do this with. I need to get a star nut installer, and I'm waiting for the headset that I ordered, and it's a little scary to me, but I will do it. And I don't know. That's what we have. That's all I can tell you. The fork looks good. It looks like it's doing everything it's supposed to. It looks like the rebound is working. Okay, the original RCS Rip Current S Mozo Fatman is on top, and the Bolloré ZTZ is on the bottom. And look at the size difference. That could be a problem, but there is definitely a lot more travel between the two stanchions, as you can see, much more. So aside from the steerer tube being a lot longer too, literally like 2.5 inches longer almost, the crown race is definitely up by about 1.5 inches, and that is with everything equal down here. So that's what we're looking at. I don't know if this is going to be a problem. I don't think it will be. We could always lower the air pressure in the ZTZ, and so it may sit proud, a little high with nobody on the bike, but when we get on the bike, it might come back down a little bit. Plus, you can lock it out. No, I was going to say you could lock it out anywhere. You can't actually do that. It keeps ratcheting up, so that won't allow for that. But anyway, we have the crown race on the ZTZ. That's the Cane Creek. Okay, it's April 6, 2021. I just took the Juiced Rip Current S off the stand with its new modifications for this year. I have not ridden it yet, but I will get into the modifications. The first modification is the Bolloré ZTZ straight steerer tube suspension fork, which seems to be working fine in here. I haven't ridden it yet. I put 100 pounds in it of pressure. I have not checked the rebound yet, but the lockout works perfectly, and the levels of compression seem to be working perfectly. So I'm pretty excited. I also installed a Cane Creek headset. This particular one, with different crown race that you can get from Cane Creek, allows you to use a tapered steerer tube at any time. It's really cool without changing anything. This is the model of the Cane Creek, which is the 40 stack 44/28.6, which is the diameter of the steerer tube. EC is external cup 44 with a 30 millimeter bottom bracket and bottom crown race, I'm sorry. So the 44 part of this is the inner dimension of the tube, and the let's see, as you can see, I used some carbon fiber spacers. I did not cut the steerer tube on this at all. I wanted extra height. The older I get, the more upright I want to sit, so now I'm really going wacky here. But it still looks cool because it's got flat bars. I didn't want dorky bent bars, swung up bars. I think the new Rip Current bars look so goofy. So anyway, that's up. The Magura front brake is awesome, but I did have a little bit of a, it's not an issue. There wasn't enough, the way I had it routed, the line, the hydraulic line, there wasn't enough play when the fork was fully extended, so I rerouted it a little bit, and that worked out good. The bike should be sitting up a little bit higher in the front, like 1.5 inches, 2 inches, but you can't really see much of that. I'll have to take a side view when I get it outside. Other than that, another mod I had to make, this screw back here that holds the fender on and holds the light in, I needed a longer screw because it wouldn't fit through the Bolloré headlight holder. Oh, and then the last thing I wanted to say for modification, and this is going to change, I have zip ties holding on the fender supports because the wraparounds wouldn't fit around these stanchions, the original ones. So I'm going to probably change that somehow, figure out what I need to get. Other than that, the bike is awesome. I can't wait to ride it. Okay, here's the start of the 2021 riding season. It's like April 7th, I think, 2021. Got the new forks on the bike and the new headset, Cane Creek headset. And the bike looks like it's ready to go. We'll find out if we die. And All right, it's a nice day. It's about 60-something degrees, and we're ready to go. The only thing that isn't ready to go are my bones and ligaments. But we'll carry on anyway. All right. I got to record my mileage at the beginning of the season, but it's about 3 miles less than this, so 1130 miles. All right. Okay, so sorry about the camera. It's just an iPhone and I'm holding it. I'm trying to drop it on the ground by holding it. I don't mean to suggest that I'm trying to drop it. It's just that that's where it's going to end up. Anyway, so there's the new fork. I have it locked out right now, but I'm on the bike path, and it's a little nippy out, so nobody's out this far. But it was packed with people where I started, that's for sure. This goes out into the wilderness, so you take life into your own hands, hence the pepper spray. Set, kill. So, we're just driving with one hand, and I guess we could stop pedaling for a minute and use the throttle. Get it up to 20. We'll get there eventually. I'm out probably about 6-7 miles maybe, and I still have all my bars. Maybe I can do this. 7.5 miles I've gone. It says on the bottom. I always reset my trip meter, which by the way should be on the front screen, not buried. The odometer should be buried, not the trip meter. So hopefully someday Juice will fix that. I've been complaining to him about that. It should be on this screen with the speed. Makes sense? Does to me. So we're locked out. We got nobody behind us. Things are good. We got some hills to go. I probably got about 2 more miles till I reach the end, which at that time I will give you a complete rundown on how much pain I'm in. Okay, you don't want to hear that, but it's a good kind of pain. It's like scratching a mosquito bite. This is my 2nd time out for the year, and every bone in my body feels like a mosquito bite that has broken bones in it. Okay, maybe not. It's not quite that bad. But anyway, the Bolognese ZTZ Cheetos, I love that name. Front fork is working okay. I don't usually use it on the bike path, but I did yesterday. I dialed in some rebound, and it was awesome. It works just the way it's supposed to. So, anyway, okay, we get some more people up ahead. All right, I'm gonna sign off until we get to the end. It's 3 o'clock and I made it all the way down to the end of the bike path. I didn't plan on going this far, but you know, when you get things helping you, you just can't stop. I just passed another heavy set old guy on a fat bike, fat electric bike, and it looked like he was having fun. These are gonna be the they're gonna turn fat snow bikes into old men fat bikes. You know, if you don't want to fall over or hurt yourself. Anyway, oh God, what a ride. That was great. Beautiful day. It's about 65 degrees. And anyway, this is about 9 miles and some change to the end of this path here. And then another 9 miles back. I'm gonna try the rebound adjustment on my forks, see how that holds up. I'm gonna go down. There's a little bit of a dirt path down here, and then yeah, we're having fun. This is just too much fun. And, okay.